Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Chuck Bader, Jr., Treasurer, American Postal Workers Union, Political Coordinator, Colorado Springs Area Labor Council, Vice President, Colorado AFL-CIO, Trustee, Colorado Postal Workers Union, Second Vice Chair of Paso County Democratic Party, Member of Veterans Foreign Wars, Post 7829, Council Member MoveOn.org, and Sunday School Teacher, Bethel Lutheran Church. I only say that because I want to let you know I represent our community. I'm a native of our community, and 1,621 people from our community said, don't close our post office. You're here to hear from the public. I speak on behalf of the public. My concern and their concern is that while you're relaxing delivery standards, Congressman DeFazio of Oregon's 4th District said it so well last Monday on the U.S. House floor of the House of Representatives. If these standards are relaxed, a mail letter mailed on Wednesday would not be delivered until Monday. If you have 2 to 3 days, you drop it in the mail Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, process it, eliminate Saturday delivery. You don't have it on Sunday, it gets there Monday, unless Monday is a holiday, it gets there Tuesday. So a 2 to 3 day standard becomes a 1 week standard. Periodicals are delayed, and by the time they get it, it's old news. People in my communities, I've been gathering their signatures, have brought up the fact that overnight delivery is critical for them. When you have a utility bill and you drop it in your post office box, and right now you expect that the next day it gets there, because so many of our people in this city with high unemployment are living paycheck to paycheck. They have got to wait until the last possible minute to mail that bill. When they find out that bill gets in the mail, goes to Denver, maybe 2 or 3 days from now, as long as Monument Hill's not closed down, that it gets there 4 days later, their bill is late, and they come home and their lights are shut off, they're concerned about that. When they drop a mortgage payment in the mail, and it misses it by just 1 day, and that rate goes up, they're concerned about that. When they put their credit card payment in the mail, and it gets there 1 day late, and they're now paying fees, not the Postal Service, they're paying those fees. Their credit rating takes a hit. They're concerned about that. I find it disturbing that the Postmaster General talks about this organization like a company when he uses terms like profit and loss. We are a service. 90% of our employees serve our country in the military. I served 4 years in the U.S. Marine Corps. We want to keep in mind that this is the United States Postal Service, not the United States Postal Company. It's not about making a profit, it's about making sure that if a senior citizen in Reba or Payton, who's an outlying town, needs their medication, they get their medication. We don't need their post office to be closed down so that in the dead of winter, when their roads are shut down and they need life-saving medication, it's on their shoulders to risk their life to go to some other post office 20 or 30 or 40 miles away to pick it up. That's not what the Postal Service is about. When Benjamin Franklin made this the nationwide network, that is not what he had in mind. We stand here today because we understood in the way that the Grand Canyon erodes, it doesn't go back. If we let any office close, if we let any mail processing center close, and if we go to 5 day delivery, you know as well as I do, we're not going back. That is a one-way dead-end street. We are standing here, the citizens of my hometown, to say we need to keep this open. I'm standing here speaking on their behalf because they know there's a better alternative. And by the way, State Representative Michael Merrifield, please give him a hand. He's speaking up for our behalf as well. Because the analogy is the old analogy of changing the furniture on the Titanic. What you guys are doing is surface level organizational changes. But the problem is there's a big hole at the bottom called the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act, leaking $5 billion per year. That's the hole we have to plug up first before you think about operational changes. We are at a point right now to where when that law was passed in 2006 and we started making our first payment in 2007, 5 years later, we can't even commit our obligation. We are obligated by Congress to fund this for 10 years, and Mr. Epperson, as you said, the Postmaster General says we can't pay it. Well, I don't understand how cutting all these things are going to be able to offset that cost. If we can't pay it this year, how are we going to find $5 billion to make up not only that payment, but payments 5 years from now? My request, my fellow citizens' request, the request of the American people are you deal with that issue first. Our request is don't even think about closing, don't even think about surface level operational changes until we plug that hole of the $5 billion. Because there's no way we can pay that for the next 5 years. cut and we can save all we want to now, but next September, that bill's going to be due. And now there's two of them, $10.5 billion. And we have to fix that. So our request, and again, my closing comments on this is they're saying, fix the legislative issue first. The battle cry is Congress broke it, not us. Had the Postal Reorganization Act or Postal Accountability Act not passed, our numbers show that without that bill, as of 2011, we would have had $600 million in the positive cash flow balance. Now, what does that say? It says that even in the worst depression since the Great Depression, even in the worst economy in 80 years, we are still, quote unquote, profitable. We are still a functional organization. I also want to say for the record that when the Postal Service is always highlighting decreases in first-class mail volume, they're not talking about the fact that we as an organization are declining in our workforce numbers. Over the past 4 years, we have reduced our workforce by over 100,000 employees through attrition. They retire, we don't replace them. Therefore, as the mail volume declines, our workforce declines, our costs automatically decline, and we are scheduled to continue that for 4 more years. As mail volume declines, we're going to reduce by another 100,000 over the next 4 years. We already have systems in place to deal with what's going on in the outside world. And when people talk about us not being viable or profitable, tell that to FedEx and UPS, whose mail we deliver on last mile delivery.